Drow script inscribed on the blade flickers and glows. It rises from the stone, hanging in the air in silent offering. Suddenly you feel hundreds of spiders crawl down your spine. Warning from Lolth not to displease her again.
Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic and fearsome figures in the Underdark, Lolth, the Spider Queen. From her fall from divine grace as Azaraushni to her rise as the cunning and cruel deity of the Drow, we'll explore her transformation, the immense power she wields, and the intricate webs of manipulation she spins. But what drives a goddess to betray her own pantheon, and how does her story shape the dark elves who revere her? Stick around to uncover the chilling truth behind her rise and the fate awaiting those ensnared in her schemes. This is one deep dive you won't want to miss. Lolth's origins trace back to a time of divine harmony and splendor, long before her name became synonymous with treachery and darkness. She was once known as Araushni, the weaver of destiny, a goddess of the elven pantheon revered for her creativity, beauty, and wisdom. As the consort of Corellon Larethian, the creator of elves and leader of the Seldarine, Araushni held a position of unparalleled influence. Her grace and artistry were celebrated, and her role as a spinner of fate positioned her as a key figure in shaping the lives of the elven people. Together with Corellon and Sehanine Moonbow, Araushni formed an unshakable triad of power at the head of the elven pantheon. The three deities were deeply intertwined, their laughter ringing through the celestial halls as they brought life to the earliest elves. While Corellon inspired courage and Sehanine guided dreams, Araushni wove the threads of destiny, her creativity giving form to the artisan souls of the elves. Her cutting humor, sometimes dark but often warm, drew laughter from Corellon himself, spawning the mortal fae who would populate the world. Araushni's complexion mirrored the starlit night, her beauty captivating and ethereal. It was said that her voice could calm storms and that her mere presence inspired creation. As the weaver of destiny, she embodied the delicate balance of life, crafting tapestries of mortal lives and immortal fates with a precision that reflected her divine artistry. She bore Corellon 3 children, each embodying an aspect of their parents' divine essence. Veraun, the eldest, inherited her cunning and ambition, becoming a god of shadows and deceit. Ilustre, their daughter, reflected the light and hope of their shared vision, a goddess of song, beauty, and redemption. Vandria Gilmadrith, the third, was more somber, a deity of grief and duty. Together, they were a testament to the union between Araushni and Corellon. Yet, beneath her celestial facade, Araushni harbored a growing discontent. She began to view Corellon not as an equal, but as an obstacle to her own ambitions. Her admiration for his leadership turned to resentment, her laughter fading into bitterness. Over time, her thoughts darkened, and her desire for power consumed her. She no longer saw herself as merely Corellon's consort or a member of the Seldarine, but as one who deserved to lead them all. Her ambition grew insatiable, and her connection to the elves, once so vibrant, began to fray. The seeds of her fall were sown when Gruumsh, the orc god and Corellon's eternal rival, attacked the celestial realm of Avandor. While Corellon faced Gruumsh in battle, Araushni watched from the shadows. She admired the ferocity of Gruumsh's rage and the raw power he wielded, a stark contrast to Corellon's measured elegance. Whispers suggest she even dallied with the orc god, though this remains shrouded in myth and shadow. Regardless, her fascination with darkness deepened, and she began consorting with the Abyssal Lords, drawing their influence into her schemes. However, her fall was entirely her own. The Abyss merely gave her the tools to amplify her ambitions. Araushni's first act of treachery was subtle but significant. She crafted a scabbard for Corellon's sword, imbuing it with dark magic designed to shatter the blade in battle. Her plan, however, was thwarted by Sehanine Moonbow, whose divine sight pierced through Araushni's veil of deceit. Sehanine's suspicion grew, and the first rift between Araushni and the Seldarine began to form. Undeterred, Araushni's schemes grew bolder. She manipulated Malar, the Beast Lord, into attacking a wounded Corellon, hoping to end her consort's life. But Corellon's resilience proved too great, and her plan failed once again. Still, Araushni persisted, driven by a belief that power was her birthright and that the Seldarine were too weak to understand her vision for the future. Her ultimate betrayal unfolded when she rallied an army of dark deities, enemies of the Seldarine, to assault Arvandor. She crafted a plan so devious that even her daughter Illustrae, unaware of her mother's true nature, became an unwitting pawn. Arachne cursed a scabbard to redirect Illustrae's arrows, ensuring they would strike Corellon during the battle. She hoped to slay her consort and frame her daughter as the assassin, leaving herself as the only figure capable of leading the Seldarine. The battle raged, chaos enveloping the celestial realm. Arachne's forces were outmatched and disorganized, just as she intended. Her true plan nearly succeeded when Corellon was struck by Illustrae's arrows, but once again, Sehanine intervened. Breaking free from the prison Arachne had cast her into, Sehanine revealed the Weaver of Destiny's treachery to the Seldarine. The tide of battle turned, and Arachne's forces were driven back. After the battle, Corellon called for a trial. Arachne's crimes were laid bare, her ambitions exposed. Her son Veyron was exiled for his complicity, and Illustrae, though innocent, chose to share her family's punishment, sensing that the Drow would one day need her light in their darkness. For Arachne, however, there was no redemption. Corellon stripped her of her divinity, her beauty, and her name. She was cast into the abyss, transformed into a monstrous spider-like Tanari, her new form reflecting the corruption of her soul. Thus, Arachne became Lolth, the Spider Queen, exiled to the abyss to dwell among the demons she had come to resemble. Though Corellon spared her life, his mercy only fueled her rage. From her prison, Lolth vowed vengeance, weaving a new web of chaos and deceit that would span the multiverse. In her heart burned an unquenchable hatred for Corellon and the Seldarine, a hatred that would define her for millennia to come. Lolth's origins are a testament to the fragility of power and the consuming nature of ambition. Once a goddess of destiny and artistry, she fell to become a deity of chaos and domination, her legacy entwined with betrayal and darkness. Lolth is a goddess of unrelenting cruelty, her very essence imbued with malice and a lust for betrayal and chaos. Her presence is as cold and dark as the endless depths of the abyss, a realm she rules with capricious malevolence. Lolth thrives on torment, finding pleasure in both causing destruction and manipulating others to destroy themselves. Whether she is actively inflicting pain or orchestrating chaos from the shadows, every action she takes is driven by spite and calculated cruelty. Malice seeps from her every movement, and even those familiar with her nature are often shocked by the depths of her viciousness. Her nature is more than destructive, it is intricately manipulative. While the orc deity Groomsh embodies a primal and steady rage, Lolth's malevolence is far more complex. Her hatred is unpredictable and volatile, like the shifting strands of a spider's web. She delights in power plays, using her followers as pawns in a grand game where the rules are constantly changing, often to suit her whims. Unlike Groomsh, whose rage is direct, Lolth's cruelty is deliberate, a product of her cunning and chaotic ambition. Lolth demands absolute loyalty from her followers, particularly the Drow, and tolerates no questioning of her motives or actions. Even male Drow, whom she views as inferior and unclean, are expected to adhere to her commands. She takes special pleasure in corrupting other races, such as humans and elves, savoring their descent into darkness and worship of her. Despite her insistence on unwavering devotion, Lolth fosters chaos among the Drow, pitting them against one another in constant infighting. Ostensibly, this serves to weed out the weak, leaving only the strongest and most cunning to serve her. However, the truth is simpler. She enjoys the chaos and derives satisfaction from the suffering it causes. Her whims are as unpredictable as they are cruel. Those who earn her favor often find themselves thrust into impossible situations, their lives hanging by a thread at her mercy. Her loyalty is fleeting, and even her favored servants can find themselves cast aside without warning. Lolth is capable of moments of calculated kindness or aid, but such gestures are rarely altruistic. They are manipulations, designed to ensnare her followers more deeply in her web of influence. When displeased, she offers a single chance for redemption, usually in the form of a perilous task, though even success might not ensure survival. This volatile nature has led many to deem Lolth insane, and there is truth to this claim. Since her fall from grace, her sanity has fragmented, leaving her a being of contradictions and shifting desires. Her will is fluid, often contradictory, yet always driven by a core of cunning ambition. Ironically, while she demands absolute obedience, nothing earns her admiration more than treachery, so long as it is artful and ambitious. Her most valued servants are those who display ruthlessness and guile, even when directed against her, provided it serves her long-term goals. In appearance, Lolth embodies both beauty and terror. She can take the form of a towering spider, her black carapace glinting with crimson reflections from her glowing eyes, a horrifying sight even for the most hardened warriors. Alternatively, she appears as a stunningly beautiful female drow, her elegance a stark contrast to her malevolent nature. In this form, she is often adorned with clinging spiders or garbed in intricate chainmail dresses, a dark reflection of her artistry and vanity. Her true form, however, is a monstrous combination of the two, a giant black widow spider with the head of a coldly beautiful drow woman. Sometimes her foremost legs appear as humanoid arms, adding a grotesque layer to her hybrid form. Lolth's influence over the drow is absolute. She has molded their society into a hierarchy of cruelty and ambition, where survival depends on strength and cunning. Her priestesses rule with an iron grip, perpetuating her ideals of chaos and domination. Lolth's presence looms over the drow cities, her image emblazoned in temples and her name invoked in prayers and curses alike. She is a goddess of chaos, spiders, and darkness, her power sustained by the endless cycle of betrayal and strife she instills in her followers. Lolth's symbol, a black spider with the head of a female drow, captures the essence of her duality, beauty and horror intertwined. As a chaotic evil greater power, her reach extends far beyond the drow. Through deceit, domination, and the threads of her intricate web, she has established herself as one of the most feared and influential deities in existence, her legacy carved in blood and shadow. Lolth's abilities are vast and terrifying, cementing her as one of the most formidable beings in the multiverse. As a goddess, she possesses physical attributes far beyond mortal comprehension. Her strength, speed, durability, agility, and intelligence are enhanced to divine levels, making her a near unstoppable force in combat. Lolth's senses are equally heightened. She can see, hear, smell, and feel events happening up to 15 miles away in multiple locations simultaneously, granting her unparalleled awareness of her surroundings and those who worship her. She is immune to numerous afflictions that plague lesser beings, including mind-altering powers, diseases, acid, cold, electricity, and poison. Even some of the most potent magical attacks are rendered ineffective against her, further emphasizing her resilience. Her spider-like traits only add to her lethality. She can produce webs to entangle her enemies, and her venomous bite weakens and poisons those unfortunate enough to be caught in her grasp. Her mastery of magic is unmatched, allowing her to cast nearly every spell known in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. These spells are augmented by her inherent resistance to enemy magic, ensuring that even the most skilled spellcasters struggle to harm her. Lolth's command over teleportation enables her to travel effortlessly between planes, making escape from her wrath nearly impossible. Illusions and trickery hold no sway over her, as her divine nature grants her the ability to see through all forms of deception. Lolth's divine abilities extend to her control over her form and presence. She can shift between her spider form, her drow form, or a terrifying hybrid of the two, each as deadly as the next. Her connection to her followers allows her to perceive events within 15 miles of a worshiper, altar, or location where her name was spoken within the last hour. Any action that affects the welfare of the drow is immediately known to her, and this awareness lingers for weeks, ensuring she is always attuned to her people's state. Her knowledge is extensive and surpasses mortal understanding, allowing her to speak any language and unravel the secrets of countless subjects. This knowledge, combined with her ability to manipulate minds, makes her an unrivaled tactician and manipulator. Lolth exerts control over the entire drow race across the multiverse, bending their wills to her own. Her influence extends to probability itself, ensuring her actions succeed even in seemingly impossible situations. Her regenerative abilities are godlike, enabling her to recover from injuries that would obliterate lesser beings, including damage to her body, mind, and soul. Her dominion over reality allows her to manipulate fundamental aspects of existence, including space and time within her abyssal domain. She creates objects and beings from nothing and has the power to grant or take away life at her discretion. Her spell resistance nullifies most magical techniques used against her, while her shape-shifting abilities allow her to adapt to any situation. She spreads chaos wherever she treads, corrupting the virtuous and sowing discord among her enemies. Lolth's power over death is absolute, capable of instantly killing mortals and erasing their souls entirely. Her destructive abilities range from devastating continents to reshaping entire universes, depending on the form she chooses to manifest. Her durability matches her offensive power, allowing her to withstand attacks from gods and mortals alike. Her speed is beyond measurement, surpassing the flow of time and space, and her striking force is enough to obliterate even the most durable opponents. Her influence stretches across vast distances, from melee combat to multi-universal levels of reach. Her intelligence is unparalleled, particularly regarding Drow culture and magic, making her one of the most cunning beings in existence. Despite her immense power, her only notable weakness lies in her vulnerability to light-based attacks, a consequence of her Drow heritage. However, even this is minor compared to her overwhelming strength. Lolth's abilities ensure her dominance not just over the Drow, but across the multiverse. Her cunning, cruelty, and divine power have solidified her place as a deity whose reach and influence are matched only by her capacity for chaos and destruction. Her every move, whether on the battlefield or in the intricate webs of manipulation she weaves, demonstrates why she is one of the most feared and revered figures in existence. Lolth, the Queen of Spiders, has left an indelible mark across various Dungeons & Dragons media, solidifying her status as a central figure in the game's expansive lore. Her malevolent presence and intricate schemes have been explored in numerous adventure modules, novels, and video games, offering players and readers a deep dive into her complex character and the dark society she governs. In the 1983 animated series Dungeons & Dragons, Lolth appears in the episode titled Hall of Bones. Initially presenting herself as a beautiful elven woman, she deceives the heroes by leading them into an underground trap, showcasing her cunning nature and affinity for treachery. Lolth's influence is profoundly felt in the War of the Spider Queen novel series, which delves into the chaos that ensues when she mysteriously falls silent, cutting off all communication with her followers and denying them access to divine magic. This series provides an in-depth look at Drow society's dependence on her and the lengths they will go to restore her favor. In the realm of video games, Lolth's presence is notably significant. In Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn, she plays a pivotal role in the Drow city of Ust-Natha, where players must navigate the deadly politics of her followers. Her influence extends to the Neverwinter Nights series, further cementing her as a formidable antagonist in the digital adaptations of the D&D universe. These appearances across different media not only highlight Lolth's enduring role as a central figure in the Dungeons & Dragons universe, but also offer fans a multifaceted view of her character and the profound impact of her actions on the world of the Drow and beyond. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the shadowy depths of the Underdark and the twisted tale of Lolth, the Spider Queen. From her fall from grace to her ruthless dominion over the Drow, her story of ambition, betrayal, and cruelty continues to captivate and challenge adventurers across the Dungeons & Dragons universe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lore of your favorite worlds. Let us know in the comments which D&D character, deity, or story you'd like us to explore next. Until then, keep your wits sharp, your allies close, and beware the webs that lie unseen in the darkness. See you in the next one.